there. So, Lucas, and I'm the founder of Scrive, or co-founder of Scrive, and what we do is we have a solution to sign documents electronically. And I thought I would take a different approach, I think, to digital transformation. I think there's a lot of hype around the theme. It's all cool and stuff, but what's the real story? So I'm going to talk about the really tough part about digital transformation. And why do I have any reason to really be here? Why do I have anything to say about the subject? Well, not really my early background. I used to be a spoken word artist on stage doing performance shows, and I was pretty good at that. But then I realized that I'm not really passionate about this, so I want to start a business. So I started a spoken word booking agency for my friends, artists, and that wasn't a very lucrative business. So I dropped out of that, and I started working as a business developer in Klarna at the same time as I was studying at Stockholm School of Economics. But I didn't get much time at Klarna, actually. I just worked for 1 month, and then I had the idea that it would be really nice if you could sign documents electronically, because I had been sending contracts when I was in my working with my booking agency, and it was really, really painful. So I thought, this is an amazing business idea. I need to start this. So I dropped out of Stockholm School of Economics. I dropped out of Klarna, and I thought, let's go. And this was in 2010. And I just could not imagine how, so I started Scribe. So I just could not imagine how long and painful this journey would be. So you see there in the beginning, 2010, it took 1 year to get one single customer, because nobody wants to use a startup to process their contracts. And then it took another year to get 10 customers. And then once we got it started a little bit, it was a very, very long valley of death, where not much exciting was happening. And it wasn't until 4 years later, in end of 2014, when we hit the business model and started growth. And in February this year, we hit 1 million transactions in total. And this now we're just past 2 million, so now growth is accelerating quite nicely. And we started gaining trust as some real customers as well. So within financial applications, Mercedes-Benz is just rolling us out across Sweden, DNB, Norway, Sweden. Tesla is one of our customers. Avis is probably the biggest application. They're just about to roll us out across all of Europe. And they're doing some really interesting stuff together with us. So customers in 21 countries. And, why are these companies really doing this? Why is it relevant to do digital transformation of your core business processes? It doesn't make sense. So let the customers speak.
First time I saw the iPad, I thought this would change the world. How we look at TV, how we listen to music, and how we sign contracts.
Our lawyers were skeptical from the beginning, but I thought that this cannot be right. If we could send a man to the moon for over 40 years ago, we must ask ourselves, why can't we not send a contract in a digital way today? In our former process, when a customer came in to the car dealer, we printed out the contract and he signed the contract, and then we sent it by post to our office. It took about 2 or 3 days, and after that we checked the contract and it was okay, we paid it out. In approximately 12% of the cases, the contract has error in it. And therefore we had to send the contract back to the dealer, and the whole process has to be redone.
The solution is amazing. It's easier, it's faster. You just take a photo of the ID, you sign the contract, and you send in the document to us.
And the result is a fantastic customer experience. When the customer signs the contract on the iPad, we can access the contract instantly at our office. With this process, we now have 0% errors, and we can pay out within 30 minutes.
Okay, so DNB is the second largest bank in the Nordics. They're processing about 25% of all the car leasing contracts in Sweden. So they're pretty big in this area. And one of the facts that they don't say in this video is that they increased their sales by 68%. They're not small. They increased their sales by 68% because the customer experience became so much better that their resellers, the car resellers, started choosing them as the preferred financing supplier. Also, as a small side effect, they also saved 27,000 euros a month, so that was pretty nice. But they're not alone. So these are some examples of effects that many wouldn't expect from just putting a signature electronically. So first one, we have to wait 1 to 2 weeks before support can help the customer, director of operations. So basically, they're sending the contract to their scanning center in Europe, and it takes about 1 week before it arrives there. And when the customer calls in, within that week, actually support can't say to the customer what the deal is. So that's a terrible customer experience. So instead, they can get instant answers. Next one, this is pretty staggering. My first week at work, I discovered that we had to write off 1.5 million of booked revenue, and the company was at the brink of bankruptcy. This was a telecom reseller, and basically they had the telecom operator systems, all the 4 different telecom operators, and they had their own system. And the thing was that salespeople had to type in the transaction in their system and in the operator system. And smart salespeople would type in different numbers in their system and in the operator system so that they would get better bonuses. And that amounted finally to 1.5 million. And it wasn't a huge company, so they were at the brink of bankruptcy because of that. So it wasn't a very good experience. And the last one, which is a pretty unexpected effect, is we only get 20% of customers' email addresses. Our top priority is to increase the percentage so that we can retain the customer after the sale. Basically, this is about the omni-channel strategy. Everybody talks about omni-channel. We're going to do it online, remote. We're going to talk with the customer in all channels. But if you can't reach the customer after they were in the store, it's useless. So you need their email, but if you can't collect their email, what you going to do? So everybody will provide their email address to get the contract to their inbox. So these are some of the effects, and DNB was really worried. Okay, look, they're going to catch up because the competitors they're going to realize how good this is. So this was 2014, and this is 2 years later. None of their competitors have done anything. Nobody's digitalized their processes, even though DNB has eaten their business for lunch. And actually, DNB is not an outlier. Less than 1% of all contracts worldwide are signed electronically. So why is it so hard? Why is it that nobody just followed and copied? First of all, business legacy systems, okay? So this is systems that are so old that nobody wants to work in them. So for example, Avis, our customer, their system is from 1968, It's very painful to do any changes. Now, they managed to do that, but you really need a committed team to want to work in those systems. Another of our customers, a telecom operator, their system is from 1985. So how are you going to get past the technology roadmap to get any of those changes done? Second, so legal confusion. So the reality is that actually worldwide you can sign contracts electronically. 99+% of all contracts can be signed electronically. However, there's a small part which have form requirements. And then there are regulations stating that if there are form requirements, you need to sign it with a digital, or you can't sign it with a digital signature, which is a specific type of technology to authenticate the customer. Now, the thing is that everybody got confused in the process, so they confused and think that they need to use the digital signature to sign all contracts electronically. So now suddenly, because the digital signature technology is not available, they conclude that you can't sign any contracts electronically, and you're stuck. And it's so interesting because the European Commission, their the EU, on their page about the new directive, they state, before the new directive, it wasn't possible to sign contracts electronically. It's completely wrong. So even them are really confused. Next one, and I'm going to be done soon. Next one is, I met a customer actually on this Friday, and it was really funny. They said, we have now 20 people in our digital transformation team. We're going to plan the future. We're going to do these projects. And I said, great, you know, now when we're rolling it out across your stores, your customer support and so on, you know, we're lacking some hours in your budget. So I guess you can allocate that. Oh, no, we don't have any budget. So, oh, but we're bringing in a consultancy company to help us out, figure out what to do. So we spent the budget on that. And then, trying to roll it out, this is one of our early customers trying to roll out the red line. It took them 2 years to go live. The solution was working, and it took 2 years for them to get adoption in their stores. And, you know, the CEO finally said, this is a real failure. Like, it doesn't work. And then what we did with one of our customers lately, Telenor Norway, we took care of the whole rollout process. Took 2 months. So, you know, the red line is not an exception. It's actually the standard. So, I'm not going to show this video because it's too long. This is this slide here. So there's a lot of talk about, you know, digital transformation. The CEOs talk about it, CFOs talk about it, CIOs talk about it, but it's all, you know, conceptual. It's buzz talk. But the doer in the company, they rarely get the executive support they need to get it done. So it's really, really hard to get things done within digital transformation unless you have the executive support. So for example, the only cases that we've seen that really work, where things really happen, is when the CEO or some really executive, some high-level executive has a direct connection to the people that are doing it. So basically, you need to be a corporate kamikaze pilot to want to do this, because the systems are old, you don't have executive support quite often, and there's no budget, and it's high risk that you will fail with the rollout. So, you know, it's not the best choice for your future career development to take on this project. So, conclusion is, everybody talks about it, but few really do. It's just like when we were teenagers, everybody was talking about all the great sex they were having, but you know, the truth was. So to summarize, digital transformation, there's massive benefits, few really do it, and most often it's hard and thankless. So I wish you good luck on the journey. And thank you for me.